So yes, you were able to see what people believed in, what people trusted, and what people verified. Because there were things that we saw, or hopefully you saw, that you never saw before. It's January 23rd, 2022. And it has been an interesting 2 years. And from today on out, we have the ability or the opportunity to reflect on what has happened in the last 2 years, decide what we want to remember during the last 2 years, and more importantly, what we want to learn. What is the takeaway from the last 2 years? Because there were things that we saw, or hopefully you saw, that you never saw before, or at least it wasn't as obvious. And during these last 2 years, you were able to see things that you were able to see that you weren't able to see before. Let's take, for example, the police. You were able to see, depending on where you were or are, is the function of the police. And in times of stress, meaning if the police had too many things to do and they weren't able to do those things because there weren't enough of them around, what would happen? And you got a chance to see that. And then, more importantly, what would happen is what takes its place instead of them. You were able to see the relationship between citizens and their government. You were also able to see the relationship between people who are present illegally in a country and the relationship between them and the country that they're illegally in, what the government is doing. You were also able to see the relationship between governments and multinational corporations and what type of arrangements were made between the governments and multinational corporations. And more importantly, if you observe, there is a difference between the relationship between a citizen and its government, the country that they reside in, and then there's a relationship between the country and the multinational corporation, and you were able to see the conflicts that happened between those three entities. So you were able to see who or what people answered to, and what people believe in, what people trust, and what people verified. So got to see during a certain period of time if people were not able, or they were told that they shouldn't leave their home and people stayed at home, what did they do with their time? So you were able to see, well, did you make good use of your time during the time that you didn't leave your house? What foods did you eat? How did you prepare? You were also able to see the financial situation of some people and how that affected other people, and what happens when your finances are stressed and what takes its place or what supports it in case something doesn't happen financially. And then you also got to see the legal arrangements between almost every single entity that had to give money to people or give money. So you were able to see all the different systems, whether it's transportation systems, whether it's businesses, whether it's even governments or municipalities, where they're accepting taxes and they're giving out a service, whether they're giving out the service, whether people are working or not. So on the interpersonal front, you were able to see what relationships you really needed. So you got to see the difference between what you needed and what could be considered a luxury for you. What was the breaking point of what you needed versus what was a luxury? So yes, you were able to see probably what people believed in, what people trusted, and what people verified, if they did verify something. A very important thing is you got to see what the laws were for something. And did people obey those laws? And were they enforced?